Yeah, we're live. Here we go. We were just doing some rapping in the background, right? Old school rapping. Welcome back, everybody, of the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Our next guests are veterans and advocates for Veteran Action Now, and they are here to, shed some light on the important issues raised at Veterans Political Action Summit. So please welcome to the show Kevin C. Meggett, Stephen Cologne, and Jacqueline Torres. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like Dave Meggett.
That's right. That's my cousin.
That's your cousin?
That's my cousin, yes.
All right.
Thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah.
It's a very important issue. Veterans are pretty much, we're becoming an endangered species.
Yeah.
And we're kind of worrying about what's coming up in this new administration.
Yeah.
That's coming. So January 20th is the presidential inauguration.
Yeah.
And on January 21st, Veteran Action Now will be hosting a press conference in front of the Manhattan VA. And we're asking President-elect Donald Trump not to privatize the VA, not to make cuts to the VA, and not to repeal the PACT Act that so many people have benefited from.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is that veterans don't have any type of representation. We're lacking representation. And so this is why I brought Jacqueline and Steve. They're part of Veteran Action Now. And she's out here representing.
Thank you for your service.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
So, do you think that this is what they're talking about? Getting rid of those items like the PACT Act?
There's a whisper campaign going on. I haven't heard anything directly. There's no direct. President-elect Donald Trump has not directly said it.
Yeah.
But he has whispered. There's whisper campaigns, and you just kind of you got to follow. You got to follow the person that's being nominated.
Yeah.
The person that's being nominated, that was nominated to look over veteran issues, isn't really that qualified.
Yeah.
When it comes
Is
to
he a
veteran.
veteran? Or is she a veteran?
Yeah, chaplain. I'm not going to downplay a chaplain, but I'm a combat veteran, and
Yeah.
Steve is a combat veteran. Have you served in combat?
I did serve in Iraq.
Okay,
but
so
I
we're all
obviously was not
combat veterans. There's a difference, you know what I mean? So you just kind of go talk to a chaplain when you're in the field.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So Jacqueline carried a big old, I'm not going to say what kind of gun it was, but there was something out there.
Yes, I did serve in Iraq. I actually was the brigade HR officer. So my job was to take care of soldiers.
Yeah.
And they were dispersed throughout Iraq, Kuwait, and here in the States. So it was a really important job because when there are casualties, they look to us.
Yeah, yeah. So you think there's going to be a change, or the guy may just come in and leave things the same? We don't know yet.
Well,
you want to just reach out to the president. How are you going to do it?
I'm not going to wait till the last minute. I'm not going to wait until it happens. I'd rather address it before it happens. It's something that is definitely whispered, having privatization of the VA. And when you start to put money before patients, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
You start to get the same janky healthcare system that civilians have. And to Steve's, he's actually, you could tell a little bit of your story also, that why healthcare is important.
I mean, I was given other than honorable discharge, and I fought it for 40 years.
Yeah.
This year, or rather last year, in 2024, 40 years almost to the day, I got my honorable discharge that I deserved.
All right.
So I started going to the VA to get health care. I mean, it's like going from 10 to 100. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
They did surgery on my eye last year,
Yeah.
right? A year and a half ago. And I'm getting surgery again, in fact, this Thursday, in a few days.
Yeah.
And I'm getting it done through the VA now. The reason it was never completed, the second stage, was I had to go through 5 different specialists.
Ooh. Yeah.
This specialist sent me to this specialist, to this specialist sent me to this specialist, to this. Why would a specialist? I went to the VA my provider said, well, I'm gonna send you to the eye doctor. Sent me up there. All right, we gotta get these reports back, we're gonna do surgery. And one person
One person.
does everything.
So you were held up because of a dishonorable discharge?
No, I had an other than honorable discharge course. There was a lot of racism back then in the 80s. And I was in Beirut in 1983.
Yeah.
What they refer to as the Forgotten War. Because when they blew up the building, I was there.
Wow.
And the public put pressure on Ronald Reagan, who was the president at the time, to pull us out. He pulled us out.
Yeah.
And they try to cover it. I've never got to see a psychiatrist, and I knew something was wrong in my head. But then when I went to the VA, they said, "Oh, we can't see you. You don't got honorable discharge."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You created this in my head, and I can't see you." Right. So there's got to be changes done. For 40 years I suffered. It caused me to start drinking, start using drugs to self-medicate. Ended up going to prison, unfortunately, for 18 years straight. Yeah. And it was in prison that I actually got assistance in a veteran residential program. For 6 months, I ended up staying there for 18 months.
Yeah.
Because I knew I needed help, and I wanted to really internalize it. And I wanted to learn more. I became the assistant director, sergeant at arms director of the program. And I want to be able to use my story to help other veterans going through the same thing.
Right.
Because as you were saying in the other segment, a lot of people doing suicide and things like that, they're not the only ones doing it. Other people are doing it. So when you say, wow, he made it, maybe I could talk to him to find out how he did it. Yeah. And that's why, I want to be a veteran advocate.
Well,
that's
I'm
what
glad
I'm
you
dedicating
came
the
all the
rest
way
of my
through it.
life
And
there.
you're here to help other
Yeah.
people. There are a lot of people in the
Come full
news now.
circle.
The Green
Absolutely.
Beret that went and burned up the Tesla car and blew that car in front of the building.
See, the thing is, Dr. Bob Lee, what a lot of people don't realize when you go to war and you're out there, you can't unsee what you see. You can't. It's almost you can't unring a bell once it's rung.
Right.
And so we're asking that you keep the VA the way it is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't when I went into the Navy, I didn't take an oath with Elon Musk or X or Walmart or Starbucks. So I don't want I took it with the federal government. That's where my and notwithstanding, when I got out, and I guess I could speak for you guys too, none of us were given they didn't unoath us. We're still under an oath, so to speak. And that oath is to protect this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And so what our enemies look like? Is it poor education, inadequate food, unemployment? Like the war is really here. And so I don't want my VA to be interpreted through corporate plutocracy. And I think part of the problem is that there's no veterans that are actually in office, that are running for office. That's the lack of representation.
Yeah.
Veteran problems are very, most people don't care because it's faceless. I'm trying to humanize it by putting a face to it. And speaking of running for office, I believe that
Yes.
Jacqueline's going to run for office?
Yes.
All right.
That's the hope. Yep.
We
Yeah.
just got
We
support
need it.
for
We have nothing.
So yeah, I'm running for City Council, District 13, which is in the Bronx.
Uh-huh.
Currently, there are.
Did you talk to the borough president?
Yes, I did.
Good,
Yes, I
good,
did.
good.
So currently, there are no veterans on City Council,
None.
which I feel, it's one thing to say we support veterans, and I do believe everyone appreciates veterans and what the 1% who currently serve are doing for the country.
Yeah.
But how we show that support shows up differently.
That's important.
And I think exactly, and I think that when you have someone who is a viable candidate, who has the background, who can do good work for everyone, because veteran issues are everyone's issues.
Yeah.
That's right.
Veterans just happen to experience something that makes them go through it sooner, whether it's illness, whether
They
it's
didn't see
mental
what you guys
health.
saw.
Exactly. So these things that a lot of people, as we get older, we start having these different health conditions. Veterans are experiencing that at a younger age because of their service.
Yeah.
And so, when you think of veterans issues, in helping veterans, you help everyone.
Sure.
So when you guys come together, and you said you want to meet up with somebody from Trump's organization,
I'm not
administration?
opposed to meeting with anyone from Trump's organization. I think some people would say, "Oh, well, don't talk." I mean, the two things that are free in this country, in this world, actually, is Jesus and conversation. And so, you got to have a conversation, just to create some type of understanding.
What do you want to tell them?
I would
You
love
could
to
get
tell-
they have the opportunity
leave-
to speak to somebody from the administration.
If
What would you
anything,
tell
put
them?
more resources into
More resources.
into the VA, and I'm open for.
Don't get rid of the PACT Act.
Don't get rid of the PACT Act. There are 738,000 people that benefited from the PACT Act, and that's why we're standing on the 21st in front of the Manhattan VA, which was slated to be closed at one time. And so it's very symbolic. And do you know the boxer Ray Mercer?
Yeah.
You know he's an Olympian gold medalist.
Yeah.
Do you know he's a former heavyweight champ?
Yeah.
You know he's a 10-year Army veteran,
I didn't know that. Oh, yes, I did know. He came out of the Army. He was fighting in the Army too.
and he's going to be standing with us.
All right, beautiful.
So I mean,
That was like one of the
shout out-
hardest hitters.
Oh yeah, I call him Uncle Ray. He has a heart of gold. So shout out to you, Uncle Ray.
He did that nasty knockout with
Tommy Moore.
Tommy.
Oh yeah, did Tommy. Merciless. That was that. But this issue is so important that we even have an Olympian, former heavyweight champion, coming out to stand with us. So it's very.
What date is that?
January 21st.
January 21st.
12 noon in front of the Manhattan VA on 23rd Street.
Let me just rewind a little bit. You just had a political action network.
Political. I mean, Veteran Action Now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And what happened
It's-
there?
Well, there's nothing that happened. That's who's hosting this.
Yeah.
But we're working with other organizations. I'm also the commander for the Bronx chapter of National Association for Black Veterans. But we're not too much. I can't be too political with these guys. So everything is done under Veteran Action.
But you're bringing the
But I'm bringing
organization
everyone,
together.
all of the veteran organizations together.
If I can add
Sure.
that what he was asking was about the Veterans Summit that was recently
Yes,
done,
yes.
where
Okay, yeah.
So
Thanks.
mayoral candidates came out
Yes.
to this summit. They came to the Bronx.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
came to discuss what their platform was going to be
Yeah.
regarding veterans.
Yes, for New York City.
which is extremely important because we want to make sure that whoever is elected sees us.
Yeah. So you probably get what you need in New York City, but beyond that, you want to bring the whole nation.
Right. Well, veteran issues are a federal issue.
Yes. That's right.
So if I could talk a little bit of history, in 2014 there was the big scandal of people dying, waiting to be seen at the VA. And so there were a lot of changes that were made where people were given the choice to be seen outside of the VA.
Yeah.
If they were unable to get a primary doctor in time to take care of their issues. And this type of advocacy is important. The fear is that the choice might be taken too far in terms of the VA is broken, so let's just make it privatized so that everyone's seeing civilian doctors as opposed to going to the VA. I think that we could do both, and we've proven that the
Yeah.
VA can be successful through the PAC Act.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you guys so much for stopping
Thank you.
by.
Thank you for having us, and so we
Definitely.
can get this message out. It's very important. I appreciate you.
And
Really
once
appreciate
again,
it.
Thank you for your service and good luck for you.
Thank you so
Good luck
much.
to
I'd
you.
like to come back one day. and
You're always welcome to come back.
Awesome.
All right?
Appreciate
Let's
it.
get behind her and run all
It's
the
an
way.
honor to come here.
All right?
really
Yes.
appreciate
Get the team
it.
together and run her the right way.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
all right?
you.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Kevin Meggett, Jacqueline Torres, and bring it up a little bit, Stephen. Hello. Thank you guys for your service, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate you.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Open next.